Hi, and welcome to part one of our 20-minute workout for proportional relationships. We're going to go over the first three questions up here as a group, and I want you to follow along. At certain times during the video, I want you to actually pause this, and if you need to, go ahead and play the video back, stop, rewind, play the video back if I've gone over something where you might need to take a second look at it, but we'll go over just the first three questions together, and we'll get this done in probably about 15 minutes. So the first question that you have on your worksheet is telling whether or not the relationship is proportional based upon a graph. And we do need to explain why or why not this is the case. So if you look at the graph that you see up here, we've got a series of dots. And if we were to connect those dots with a straight line, would this show a proportional relationship? If you're not sure about whether it does or not, remember that a proportional relationship by a graph, two things must occur. It must be a straight line, and it must pass through the origin. So if you have a straight edge, and you can use your ID, you can use a ruler if you have one, or you can probably freestyle this one if you want to. Go ahead and connect the dots that you see up here, just like that. And we can probably clearly see at this point we don't have a straight line. Automatically, we don't have a proportional relationship for this one. Whether or not it goes to the origin really doesn't matter at this point because we don't have a straight line. So as an answer to a question like this, we want to say, no, this is not a proportional relationship. You can just write no. And we do want to explain why or why not. This is not a proportional relationship because the line isn't straight. That's the most probably concise answer that you can give for something like this. And that's all I'm really looking for you at this point is this a proportional relationship? No. Explain why or why not. The line isn't straight. It probably doesn't go to the origin also, and you can write that if you want to. But really, as long as the line isn't straight, it doesn't matter if it goes to the origin or not. If you need to, again, go ahead and pause or rewind the video to have this explanation again. And when you're ready, we can go on to problem number 2. All right, problem number 2 says, do the values in the table form a proportional relationship? So it also says to explain this as well. We want to take the bottom values or the y values within the chart, the y values in the chart, and divide them by the x values, the ones up top. Remember that these values up here are our x values. These values in the bottom of our chart represent our y values. So to determine whether or not a proportional relationship exists, let's take the bottom value here, 30, divided by the top value. Let's take the bottom value here and divide it by the top value. And go ahead and write your values underneath. 30 divided by 1 would be 30. Let's do the same thing for the other 4 ratios here, the other 4 columns in our chart. Go ahead and pause the video now and complete those 4. Use your calculator to determine those ratios. And start the video again when you are ready. Okay, let's find out how you did here. If I look at the ratios in my second column here, we're going to take the bottom number, 60, divided by the top number, 2, and again we get 30. In our third column, we're going to take the bottom number, 90, divided by our top number, 3, and we get 30. Again, in our bottom value, we have 150, and our top value is 7. 150 divided by 7 is, use your calculators, we don't have 30. We've got 150 divided by 7, which is about 21. I'm just going to say 21.1. It's about that, 21.1, 21.2. I don't have the calculator with me, but you do. So your answer might be more accurate than this one. And if we want to go ahead and do the ratio for the third one, our bottom number, our y value, divided by the top number, our x value, we get 30 for this one. So what do you find out about these? These are our rates of change. And if our rates of change are all the same, we have a proportional relationship. If any one of these numbers does not look like the other numbers here, we don't have a proportional relationship. So next to this, I want you guys to write an explanation. Do we have a proportional relationship? And explain yes or no.